Alright guys, well this wasn't really picked up by many mainstream media outlets, or actually I didn't see any, frankly. Um, but essentially on the 4th of July we had a group, a black armed militia, which calls itself the Not Fucking Around Coalition. So there you go guys. That's a quality name, not gonna lie. So they went on a little march in Atlanta to protest. So they're fully armed, walking down the street, doing a march on the street to a park where the biggest Confederate monument is located, and it's in Atlanta, Georgia. And let's not forget, guys, just to give you guys a quick history lesson, Confederate monuments were not like a thing of before the Civil War. This was after the Civil War, as basically just a big fuck you to black people to say, guys, actually, I know we lost the Civil War, but like you're still gonna be slaves as long as we're around. So fuck you. Here's a monument. Like we didn't actually, like, they're not actual expensive, well worked on monuments. They're just like put up to be like, oh guys, fuck you, and to intimidate black people. That's literally the entire point of their existence, is to intimidate black people. But now all of a sudden there's some kind of political football where you're erasing our history. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, shut the fuck up, basically. But yeah. So obviously, as you'd expect, the NRA came out and were like, guys, let's not freak out about this. This is completely fine. Of course, they should have the right to bear arms because that's the Second Amendment, right? That I'm jack shit. They didn't say anything. They said jack shit this entire time. But when it was the white supremacists in Charlottesville getting all their media attention, you have the right to bear arms. But when it's black people, they're fucking silent, fam. It's incredible the lack of principles with these. Like, listen, you know what they say? A principle is only a principle when it applies to somebody you disagree with. So, like, you know what they say? Like, you can't be a spokesperson for freedom of speech if you only say it for people you agree with. You also have to have that same standard for people that you disagree with. And somehow the NRA, who stands for the right to bear arms, which people do, and even though it should be well regulated, because that's what it says in the Second Amendment directly, it literally says a well-regulated militia. A well-regulated. So that automatically means that there has to be some kind of regulation, some kind of checks. A well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So there we go. That's the Second Amendment, and all of a sudden, like, people are like, "Oh, guys, we can't have any background checks." Like, what the fuck are these guys even talking about? And they're trying to recite the Second Amendment as if it backs them up when it really doesn't. But anyway, I digress. I think this is funny how the NRA doesn't reply to this, but the larger thing is, I think if we had some more of these kind of militias that are against the rich white people, then you're gonna have serious, like, gun reform. Mitch McConnell, listen, let me tell you what's gonna happen. There's gonna be a Muslim militia. Imagine the day there's a Muslim militia, guys. Mitch McConnell's gonna go drive to Pelosi's house. He's gonna go, "Oh, Nancy, and then we need to get some gun reform done." In his little turtle shell, like looking ass. But yeah. We just need, guys. So this is a good start. We just need a Muslim militia, a Mexican militia, any non-white militia. Add a few more of these, they're shitting their pants. White America's like, holy shit, what the fuck are we talking? We need gun control right now. And guys, let's not forget why gun control originally happened back in the 60s. Because remember, back in the day, automatic guns were allowed until, wait for it, the Black Panthers came about. Because the Black Panthers one day decided to, guys, we're gonna camp outside a city hall with a bunch of automatic weapons, and then the next few days or weeks, they're all banned. So funny how that one works, isn't it? Like, they're all principled until everybody's principled until somebody they disagree with has those privileges. It's the same with freedom of speech. It's the same with the Second Amendment. Everybody's just flip-floppy on this, and you see it all the time. Like, they always switch they always move the goalposts whenever it suits them best, which kind of shows you their frailties and the fact that they don't actually believe what they're saying half the fucking time. But anyway, so if there is gun control now, I'll take it as a W. But it just once again, if gun control happens after we have some more of these incidents, I'll be happy on the one side that there's gun control, but I'll be sad because it kind of confirms that there still is this sense of real cultural racism on top of the systemic kind of war on drugs and, you know, incarceration, mass incarceration kind of stuff. But so it'll be sad on the one hand, but it'll also be good to have a well-regulated system, which is literally what the Second Amendment says: a well-regulated militia. So what the fuck's the whole issue? Like, what are they even fighting on? It literally says in the Second Amendment that they love to talk about. The first sentence is a well-regulated militia. So what the fuck is really the whole discussion here? We should not have felons or criminals bearing arms. We should not have people that have been clinically diagnosed as psychopaths or as bipolar bearing arms. Simple stuff, guys. I'm not fucking talking. I'm not trying to remove you. I'm not trying to take away all your guns. I'm trying to take away the guns of people that are gonna kill you, or are gonna fucking one day when they feel a little bit sad, go to some casino and shoot it up. Anyway, so yeah, those are my thoughts on this whole topic. And listen, I support taking down Confederate statues. Although I think it should probably stop with Confederate statues, because once you get into the whole slavery thing, it gets a little bit iffy. Because are you going to take down Muhammad? Are you going to take down the pyramids? Because last time I checked, the pyramids weren't made by, you know, well-paid, educated workers. Are you going to take down, I don't know. Who else owned slaves, guys? Listen, the entire, like, previous to the entire 19th century and before, culture was to own slaves. So you can't really take down everybody whoever owned a slave. I think the bigger thing is to take down people who are only remembered for their slave owning. That's how I would distinguish, you know, Muhammad from the guy that was taken down in the UK, for example, because Muhammad isn't like the priest. Isn't the prophet. Sorry, he's remembered for his religious kind of teachings, not not the fact that he owned slaves. And so that's kind of the biggest distinction I'd give on that one. But on the whole, I think the biggest thing right now is to take down Confederate statues and to actually get shit done on justice reform and police reform and the war on drugs. But that's never going to happen, so interesting.